Deal with that right now! I'm Mighty Grimlock, and this is Ultra Magnus. Hang on, how did you get in here? Good evening YouTube, it's Mighty Grimlock. I'm back again with the Transformers review for you. Today we are looking at Transformers Prime RID Voyager Ultra Magnus. I got this guy just the other week when I was working over in Barrow, because Barrow seems to be a hot spot for Transformers stuff at the minute. Go figure. Home bargains, $11.99. Bargain! So this is Ultra Magnus in his truck mode. He looks a bit like a brick with wheels on. But there's something quite nice about it that I enjoy. He's got some nice little bit of... Well, he's got a couple of paint apps. As you can see, he's got his Autobot logo on either side there. And he's got a nice sort of red Go Faster stripe that goes round all the way. You can go faster. So in his vehicle mode he also comes with a weapon, which is this rather tasty looking gun with a giant blue bit on it, because that really scare the enemies. In the instructions there's two tabs here on the blue part. It says that they peg in to these two pegs here. They blatantly don't at all. If you struggle with it, you can just sort of sit it in there, but any kind of movement comes straight out. So the only way really you can do it is just to straighten these up and just turn it the other way around and use this peg and just stick it in like that. And it looks a bit silly, doesn't it? In terms of like a size comparison, here is Voyager Optimus Prime. So I'm not 100% certain that they're particularly well matched in terms of size. I know that Ultra Magnus is a little bit longer in the wheelbase, but Prime's cab is much bigger, much taller, so I don't know. The only problem I have with this mode is that it looks to me like if you took off his Autobot logo and turned him yellow and black, he would be a giant Tonka truck. A little comparison with the Cyberverse Ultra Magnus, which I absolutely love, and you can see there's not too much difference. They're fairly similar. The only difference majorly, they actually even transform fairly similarly. The only real difference is that this Ultra Magnus is a lot darker blue than this one. But other than that, they've still got the same flaws. You can still see the legs in truck mode. But other than that, they do transform extremely closely. So moving on to transformation then. He's fairly simple to transform, this guy. He's a bit of a panel former if I'm being honest, but it all sort of works quite nicely. First thing you do is you just take him here and just sort of crack him open. First we crack the shell and so on. Then you can flip this little bit back over his head and just sort of pull this all back and straighten out his legs and pull this cab section back. And to be honest, he's nearly done. You just move his arms back around, flip these sort of the pauldrons, shoulder pauldrons round like that. His arms are quite cool. Move his fist out and then this whole section just sort of folds up to create the forearm, which is quite nice. And it means he has sort of an Autobot tattoo on the inside of his forearm. So again with this one, move his fist out, rotate that up, and it just sits quite nicely. Then the legs, they're pretty much transformed if I'm being honest. Separate them apart, flick the feet out, and then the wheels are quite cool. These ones here, they just sort of, they tab out. Oh sorry, I forgot to mention. Just fold these bits away. Pull the wheels out, and then they just fold around his calf. Like that, and tab in. So again, just fold it around his calf and it'll tab in. And there we have Ultra Magnus transformed. So in bot mode, Ultra Magnus cuts a pretty dashing figure. He's all chunky and nice, and he's got moulded in missiles in his shoulders and a nice bit of paint apps on his chest, and he also has chest piping. So Magnus has a rather smashing face sculpt. It's very tasty. There's no light piping to speak of, but he does seem to have nice painted green eyes, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, there's a nice bit of paint detail on his chest there. Nice bit of white and red paint, and lovely little Autobot symbol just up here. Here is in a quick size comparison with Optimus Prime, and you can see that they're pretty much the same height. Ultra Magnus seems a little bit bulkier because he's a bit wider and he's got more of a backpack, but they're roughly about the same size. Here's a size comparison with the Cyberverse Commander figure, who looks pretty small in comparison. He's about half the height. They both look really, really cool, and I like them quite a lot. So again, in this mode, Ultra Magnus has two weapons. He has his cannon, which he can hold like this, which is a bit of a beefy looking thing. Pretty tasty, if you ask me. It also transforms, and unlike all the other god-awful Powerizer weapons, this one actually locks into place. So you just pull it down, and then there's a blue catch here, which comes around and pegs in there, and then you have a hammer locked into place. Why? Still, it's better than this. So Magnus can wield his hammer any way he chooses fit. The only problem is he has a ball jointed shoulder which doesn't support the weight of it. He also comes with this pretty nifty missile launcher. You can hold it as a gun. That looks a bit rubbish though, doesn't it? There's ports in his shoulders where this should fit. Imagine how cool that would look if he had two. And he's got some decent articulation. All ball joints at the shoulders. He's got a bicep swivel. The weakest sounding ratchet joint you've ever heard. And it's only 90 degrees. His head's on a ball joint, so you get a decent bit of range out of that. He's got a 360 waist for some reason. Thigh swivel. Oh, that's a little bit better. Oh, that scratches the itch a little bit, doesn't it? And there's nothing to speak of on his feet. So Ultra Magnus can be armed to the teeth. A missile launcher that doesn't launch, and a hammer that has a light in it. He's got a hammer with a light in it! Hey, that's enough. So can I recommend Ultra Magnus then? Yes, in one word. He's actually quite a lovely bot. He's got gorgeous detail on him, a lovely face sculpt. He's very, very articulated. The only problem I have really is these dodgy shoulder joints and the visible legs in vehicle mode. But they're problems that actually carry over from the Cyberverse toy as well, so you think you would have fixed it, Hasbro. For the price I paid for him, like I say, $11.99, I can't complain at all. So if you ever see him cheap, get him. This has been Mighty Grimlock. Thank you very much for watching. Come back again next time and I'll be reviewing something that we can deal with. So in bot mode, Ultra Magnus looks pretty tasty, I have to say. Pretty tasty indeed. Here is just a size comparison. Here he is with Ultra...